Ladies and gentlemen, it's 5 o'clock. Welcome to the hybrid in-person and virtual meeting for the Committee of Adjustment for the Township of Central Frontenac. Members of the public may join in person or virtually. For those of you who may be new to the Committee of Adjustment, my name is Bill Everett, and I am the chair of the committee. We also have to my left, Dan Meeks, Philip Smith, Cindy Kelsey, Nikki Gowdy. To my right, we have Duncan McGregor and Lynn Clagis. Staff from my right, we have Abigail McKinnon, Chris Nelson, and at the end of the table from the county, Jenny Capusta. Chris Nelson, our community service coordinator, will be assisting us as the meeting host. We are also joined by the planning staff, as I stated. The format of the meeting will follow the agenda posted online. Staff have prepared a presentation to follow along with during the meeting. This will be shown on the screen. For each application with a public hearing, we will follow this format. I, as the chair, will introduce the file so that everyone knows where we are on the agenda. The planner will provide an overview of the application. We will then ask if there are any comments from the applicant or their agent. Committee members may then ask staff and the applicant or their agents questions, if any. The public will then have the opportunity to ask questions or provide comments. I encourage you to ask any questions you may have. The committee will then deliberate and vote on the application. Voting will take place with members of the committee raising their hands or verbal confirmation if attending online. I will then state whether the vote was carried. All members of the public will have an opportunity to provide comments on the new applications. Please note that as of January 1st, 2023, only persons specified in the Act are permitted to appeal consent and minor variance applications. Township staff will be in touch following the meeting and will forward a copy of the decision within 15 days to the applicant and anyone who has requested to be notified. Should you have any questions after the meeting, we encourage you to reach out to staff. The applicant, the minister, or any prescribed public body with an interest in the matter may appeal the committee's decision to the Ontario Land Tribunal within 20 days of the decision or notice date by submitting appeals through the e-file portal. Details about the e-file system are provided in the notice of decision. I will now ask Chris Nelson to provide an overview of how members attending virtually can participate.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Once the meeting is open to the public, the chair will ask if anyone has any questions or comments. Members of the public attending virtually will be asked to use the raise hand feature at the bottom of your screen. This alerts us that you would like to speak. Staff will then notify the chair that someone would like to speak and then proceed to unmute your microphone. You'll receive a notification that your microphone has been unmuted. Please wait a second after unmuting your microphone before speaking. If you're calling in by phone, please dial *9 when you would like to raise your hand during the meeting. You will hear a prompt on the phone that you have raised your hand, and you will be notified when your microphone has been unmuted. This afternoon, it looks as though we have 3 members of the public participating with us online and 2 in person.
In the unlikely account that we have connection issues and the meeting cannot be restored within 15 minutes, the meeting will be postponed and staff will be in touch with each applicant. A notice will also be posted on the township social media letting you know. We don't have anybody online, right?
No.
Okay. Choice?
Nikki, Philip?
Moved by Nikki Gowdy, seconded by Philip Smith, that the agenda of August 12th, 2025 be adopted as presented. Are there any amendments?
No, there is not.
All those in favor? Carried. Are there any disclosure of pecuniary interest or general nature thereof? None noted. Moved by Dan Meek, seconded by Philip Smith, that the minutes of July 8th, 2025 be adopted and presented or as amended.
No amendments.
All those in favor? Carried. Okay. Applications for consent.
None.
Okay, applications for minor variance. Application 2025-0018 Bankowski. Ms. Kapuste, if you would, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Excuse me. This is an application for a property located at Part Lot 10, Concession 4 in Geographic Township of Oso, municipally known as 1120B Warrington Lane. This proposal is to reconstruct and enlarge an uncovered and unenclosed deck. You can see on the screen here, there's an image of a house with a deck attached. The red area, which is at the bottom of this picture, is the part that is subject to this application. The front edge of the cottage and the remaining part of the deck meet the 30-meter setback, but this 10-foot extension part here does not meet that. So we'll have a minimum water body setback of 27 meters or 88.6 feet to accommodate a 320 square foot or 29.7 square meter addition. This deck area is proposed to be uncovered and unenclosed, similar to the other part of the deck. This application was circulated for review by Mississippi Conservation Authority. Comments dated May 28th of this year indicated no objections to the application. The slope on the property does not meet the criteria for an erosion hazard, and due to the distance from the shoreline, the MVCA has no concerns with regards to erosion or floodplain hazards along the shoreline. There's no increase in living space proposed, and the construction is not near any existing septic system, therefore no septic reviews required for this application. Following the writing of the planning report, in which I stated there was no public comments have been received regarding this application. There were 2 comments received. They are printed out and in front of the committee members as they were received today. The concerns with these are that the deck actually has already been built, and questions are, is this application to further enlarge the deck? I was not aware the deck had been already built, so this is not to further enlarge the deck. If it has already been built, it should not have been, but that was I was not aware that this was undergoing construction. I thought we were going to approve it first or not approve it. So provided the information in the comments is correct, this would be just to then recognize the construction that has already taken place. Another concern was whether the committee could add a condition to prevent any enclosure of the deck in the future. This is not a condition the committee can impose on the applicants or as a condition of approval, because any property owner does have the right to make any planning application at any point in the future. So can the committee add that condition? No, you can't control what people may ask for in the future. But at this point, there is no plan to enclose it. It is just to have an open and uncovered deck area. Sorry. Oh, sorry. That's okay. Subject to any public comments or other information that may be provided at the meeting, further to those comments, planning staff are recommending approval of the application as submitted and with the conditions listed in the planning report.
Thank you. Are there any comments or questions from the applicants, either in person or online?
Please use the raise hand feature if you'd like to speak. I'm seeing none.
Does any member of the committee have any questions? Mr. Smith?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to ask, Jenny, you made a comment about you weren't aware that it was already constructed. This is just a general question in regards to the applications. Do we not do site inspections for all of these applications?
We don't always do site inspections for all the applications. This is one I did not do a site inspection as it was a minor deck extension. And consultation with Conservation Authority didn't really raise any concerns that I felt warranted a site inspection in this case. So I guess the answer is I don't visit all of them. I try to, but it doesn't always happen.
Are there any other questions? Ms. Klages?
Thank you. I just am wondering with this picture from Airbnb, is this a mock-up or has it actually been constructed? And if we do have the applicant here, is it possible to ask him?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I did do some research after I received that email and yes, I saw a video of 360 of the cottage and the deck is there.
Mr. McGregor?
So because we didn't do a site visit in this particular case, we have no way, I guess, of verifying that the setbacks in the diagram are the setbacks that are actually on site.
That is correct. However, if they have constructed this, whatever is approved is what the building permit approval will be. So when the site visit is done for the final inspection for building, if it exceeds what is approved at the committee, alterations would have to be made to make it conform with what is approved at the committee.
Any more questions? Ms. Gowdy first.
Thank you, Chair. Because we're finding a lot of applications coming where the construction has already happened, is there any way, I don't want to put extra work on anybody, but is there any way we can start to just verify before they come to the committee whether construction has happened or not happened?
I can speak to that a little bit. So this application came in as a result of a zoning clearance that I completed where I said that a minor variance would be required prior to approval for the permit, which spurred then the application to be presented for the minor variance. So at that time, the deck was not constructed and the direction was to receive minor variance approval prior to permission being granted for the permit. So that was what was requested. However, that is clearly not what happened.
Ms. Kelsey?
Well, I just feel like this is like they shouldn't be doing this, first of all, until you have the approval. Is there any kind of fine system for somebody who goes ahead and does this without approval? Because how do we know what they've built or how far or any of that? Like most places, if you went and did this, they would make you tear it off.
So there is some ability through the Planning Act to issue fines in certain cases. It's done through the Provincial Offences Act, if I am not mistaken, which can be a lengthy, strenuous process. So to gain compliance through a minor variance within reason is generally the most efficient way. Now, we do for applications that are received as a result of a compliance issue, have an increased fine for or fee for the application. However, given that it was constructed after the application was submitted, the applicant didn't pay that increased fine amount.
So can we send them the bill for the balance then for this?
I would need to follow up with Kathy on that one.
Are there any more questions from the committee? Or are there any questions or comments from public online?
Please use the raise hand feature if you'd like to speak. Seeing none.
Any members here or of the public? Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Hi, I appreciate the work that was done on that particular property. I don't know if the committee is familiar with it. There's a long history of abuse on that property where things were built or started to be built or built substandard, and then, a request was put in for asking for forgiveness rather than for permission up front. Everything from including what was supposed to be a garage at one point ended up being a dwelling that was too close to the property line, and the thing was strife for that. When we first purchased a couple of doors down from it, at that point, there was a bit of an issue going on about the setback being actually 100 feet. So everything was at a standstill at that point, and I don't believe that was ever truly resolved. So unlike what you may have said, I'm still not 100% sure that dwelling is actually behind the 100 feet. In fact, I'm very positive. I'll state my reputation on it that it is in fact not. But that's not the issue here today. The issue here today is we have yet another example of that particular property, which we have to live with, where they're coming back asking for permission or asking for forgiveness rather than permission again, when the rest of us are all sticking to the rules. It's upsetting, to be honest with you. And what I'm afraid of is, even though I wasn't the one that submitted the request about having some provision added to ensure that it wouldn't be enclosed, but I had discussions with the individual who happens to be another neighbor of mine. And that is because with that property, what's always happened is time will go by, and next thing you know, it'll be, oh, let's just screen it in a little bit. And then next thing you know, it'll be, oh, well, let's put the windows on that. And next thing you know, it's part of the living room. And when we look at the building, the guy did a great job, by the way. So if he's online, I hope you're listening. You did an absolutely great job on refurbishing that building and getting it back up to what it should be. But if we look at the pictures and you look at it, that deck that runs across the front, it doesn't really need to be there when the egress is there's sliding patio doors that go out onto the one that wasn't marked in red already. Why, if we're within the 100 feet, why couldn't they build the deck to wrap around a little more? Still give them the lake view, but not encroaching on the front and not having those front doors open up the way they did. There's just no excuse for it. Anyways, that's where I stand. I object to it. I don't object to the work that he's done. I believe he needs a deck there, absolutely, but it could have been done differently, and it could have been done so that it would have been compliant without us having to come here, because it's been ongoing with that property over the years. Thank you for letting me vent.
Thank you.
Could I also just ask you your name? My apologies.
Certainly, it's Bill Wilson.
Thank you.
It's on the bottom of all these letters.
That would kind of be my fault too, right?
That's okay.
Anybody else? No?
Oh, Duncan.
Yes.
Based on the comments I've heard from both staff and the public, I'd like to defer this motion to our next meeting to give staff time to go to do a site survey and verify the information included in the application.
And what is staff's belief on that?
Well, we can certainly measure on site. Again, we're not surveyors, so we are unable to survey exactly, but we can measure with our sorry, I can't remember the name of it, measuring tape, and see what it is on site.
An alternative option, if the committee wishes, they could always add a condition requiring a survey sketch confirming locations and setbacks be provided along with the building permit application to confirm that what is approved is what is on site. I have seen that in other cases where there was questions with regards to the actual setbacks, as I said, well, we can measure. The only one that legally can verify what that setback is an Ontario land surveyor. So there is perhaps an option to say a survey sketch. It's been done for building envelopes and other consent applications. So that may be an option for the committee to add a condition regarding that as part of the approval if they choose to approve, or alternately defer and work something else out. Just a couple of options.
Mr. Meeks first.
I think that's a great idea. I also think there should be a penalty too. If this is ongoing, and I think there should be looked at something as well.
I can speak with Kathy. I know with what we have currently in place, we don't have a penalty. And I did some research about this in the past, and I think the only real penalty that you can apply is administrative fees to cover the costs of site visits and things of that nature. But I will confirm that.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Abby, has the building permit been closed up on this deck, or is it still open? Because if Andy has to go out to inspect, could he do he could do the work for you to save you going out?
Building permit would not have been issued at this point, because when he applied, whenever you apply for a building permit, you have to apply first for zoning clearance, which is from me to say that I approve of the location, which is where this got flagged and resulting in the application. So there has been no permit issued at this time.
Go ahead.
So I think instead of having Andy go out and measure, I like the idea of a surveyor. It also speaks to the fact that we're not happy with what happened, and there's a bit of a penalty in the fact that you have to now hire a surveyor to prove what you did, and you did it right. I'd also like to perhaps defer, as Duncan suggested, until we can find out about penalties 100%. I do have a question about the building permit as well, not just for the deck, but if work has been done on the structure itself, was a building permit required for any renovations to the structure? Because if we're talking about, if we put in a large patio door in the front of the building, would that not also be structural and require a building permit?
That I don't know. From my understanding, this building and the compliance issues have been ongoing for a long period of time, longer than I've been employed here. So I don't have the answer to that question, but I can
Something else
find
we
out.
could look into.
My one question would also be, is that a new deck or was that a rehabilitated deck?
It's pretty new.
It is new?
So my understanding, Mr. Chair, was that there was a portion of deck there and that this was to demolish and enlarge. So the entire deck structure now is new, but my understanding is that there was an existing or older deck that was the smaller portion, and when they enlarged it, they would like to extend it.
So it still wasn't rehabilitation. It was a new deck all the way across.
I believe
Yeah.
so.
Mr. Meeks.
Is that something, low and high water level could be verified by certainly not a surveyor?
Mhm.
Surveyor can do that? Oh, okay.
So the consensus is defer with a clause to sketched and surveyed.
And find out about the penalties, if Abby can look into that.
Just give me a moment to write a resolution here.
Mr. Chair, just while she's writing her motion. Not only for this application, but perhaps for future, if we're not able to apply penalties for this, I think the committee is interested in infractions like this. How do we institute that? So people learn the lesson that, you know, you don't just get to build whatever you want and then you get to come and ask for forgiveness later.
Mhm. Well, it's difficult out in the sticks especially.
Mr. Chair, may I ask a question of the neighbor that was, is that all right? Bill? Bill?
Hi.
Hi.
Up to the microphone again, please.
Alright. When was the rehabilitation of the cottage done, if you recall correctly?
It was done over, in the past, 10 months. It was basically a tear down and a rebuild.
Okay.
He left a little bit there, but that building,
So there was no deck left.
there was no deck ever on the front of that because it was never completed. That building was just partially built, and then it was just totally falling in. And it's been like that for years. And
But within the last year, so thank you.
yeah. Oh, he just finished it this spring.
Okay, thank you.
So we need to find a bit.
Ms. Kapusta, could you please reiterate what you said for Abby to,
My understanding from the committee that they'd like to add, as part of the deferral resolution, that it's not returned until a survey sketch of the property is provided, confirming the exact location of the building and the water body setbacks, as well as the sizing of the deck and structure.
So just to confirm with the committee, you're wanting to defer the application to allow staff time to investigate penalty options. Survey sketch including location of structures and high water mark on the property. And I think there was a third thing. The size of the deck, was that? Oh, and permits. Thank you. Okay. Read that and let me know how you feel about it.
that sounds weird. Mr. McGregor? Moved by Ms. Gowdy. You good to second? Moved by Duncan McGregor, seconded by Nikki Gowdy, that application 2025-0018 be deferred to allow staff time to investigate penalties and options, and that the applicant provide a survey sketch showing building locations and high water marks, and further that staff construct a timeline of permits issued. All those in favor? Carried. Okay, application 2025-0028, Pisani. Ms. Kapusta, if you would.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this is an application that also is already under construction. I know. I realized that when you guys went off. Anyway, so this is an application to reconstruct and enlarge an existing dwelling. There's a lot of arrows and colors on my picture. I was trying to make it more clear. So the original cottage is shown as the roof line. The proposal is to reconstruct and enlarge the existing dwelling and increase the footprint by 300 square feet, which is the hatched yellow area shown on the picture. Currently, or previously, this was an open and uncovered deck area. during the storms, it was either last year or the year before, I'm not sure, a big tree fell on it and crushed it. So the applicant began the reconstruction process. Admittedly, should have had permits and did not. But ran the reconstruction process, and during that decided as they were reconstructing that enlarging and squaring off is something they would like to do. In order to have a similarly sized deck area, they are also asking to reconstruct and enlarge the uncovered and unenclosed deck by the same 300 square feet that has been incorporated into the dwelling as main floor living area. The plan to do this is by adding the two purple portions. The decks are not constructed on site. Staff did do a site visit for this one. The purple portions, and so the footprint of the structure is proposed to be enlarged with the yellow and no further encroachment, and the deck is proposed to be enlarged and extended along the water side of the cottage. Again, the same water body setback, so the enlarged footprint will not further encroach into the water body setback than the existing situation. Additionally, the applicant wishes to increase the gross floor area through a second-story loft area. This is a loft area that exists or existed previously, currently as just a basic storage area. They would like to convert that second floor storage area and that footprint into like a office, TV, study, bed, not bedroom, but like a TV room and an office and a small storage area. This footprint was there previously, but they wanted as proper, fully accessible living space with stairs. The majority of the upper level will remain as a vaulted ceiling open to below as it was before, including the additional footprint. So that's the proposal with that. This was circulated to Rideau Valley Conservation Authority for comments. They did provide comments on July 4th. There's no mapped natural hazards on the property, and again, distance from the high water mark, so sufficient to limit erosion concerns. They regulate up to 15 meters or 50 feet from the shoreline, and this structure, including the deck, is outside their regulated area. So they do not have concerns from a natural hazards perspective. Consultation with building, there's no increase in bedrooms or bathrooms, and the gross floor area was not sufficient for septic review. And as the construction is within essentially the footprint of the existing deck area, and the deck area is along the front on the opposite side of the cottage from the septic, it was determined that there wasn't a septic review required for this application. There were no public comments received regarding this. Planning staff are recommending approval of the application, subject to any comments received at this meeting and with the conditions listed in the planning report. Thank you.
State your name, please.
My name's Dan. My name's Daniel Pisani. I'm the property owner of 1153 Feeney Lane. And I can give you some background on this if you'd like. So yeah, it was constructed in 1960. As it was well described here by staff. What happened, and I'm from Nunavut, so it's a challenge. And when I found out it was a tree that fell on it. It wasn't falling on, it didn't fall on the deck. It fell on the actual, where the yellow portion is. It actually fell there. So I was forced to get it constructed, get a contractor there. Because I'm a professional engineer in Ontario as well. I know once we start exposing walls and foundations, my dad built it in 1960. It was built on cinder brick blocks. It wasn't stable. The walls weren't stable. They were 20-inch centers. So as your building officials will tell you, you have to meet the current building standards. So getting into that and me being not there, I did the design. I stamped the drawings, or going to stamp the drawings. And if you have any questions in regards of how it was constructed, or look, I'll be the first to admit, I reacted. And I just couldn't get down here, and I bought a plane ticket to come down here. I went and saw your building official right away, paid all the fees, and apologized. But that's kind of how it got initiated. I wasn't trying to in Nunavut. I'm the Assistant Deputy Minister for Infrastructure. I have the building department under me. So
Let me
Yeah.
just clarify.
Yeah.
You've seen Mr. Dillon.
yes, I have.
Was a building permit has been issued and paid for?
It has not been issued, but it has been
But-
paid for.
It has been paid for.
Correct.
We're kind of setting a precedent here.
Actually, just for clarity, it wasn't already built. It was starting to be built.
Right.
The decks are not built. So all those setbacks have been
So
verified.
basically you made repairs, but haven't really started what was shown on the screen.
No, I have started the frame,
Okay.
right? And again, it was discussions with the building department, but it's so difficult to get contractors,
Mhm.
right? And I didn't want them to leave the site, and it just took off. I had to get the drawings. I had to do the drawing designs myself, and then get them down here. And they were submitted, I don't know, back in end of May. I could be wrong on that date.
Okay. Are there any comments from anybody from the public online?
Please use the raise hand feature if you would like to speak. Anyone online? I see one, Mr. Kevin Feeney. You are now allowed to talk. Your mic can be unmuted.
Mr. Feeney, go ahead, please.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me? Let me see. Something's gone wrong.
This is not mine. Yeah.
I don't see the connection for them. Oh, there's the microphone there.
Let's just make sure here. The
Well, we are working out the technical here.
They online, they can hear him talking.
Okay. The applicant did pay the increased fee for building without a permit for a minor variance application. So I just wanted to add that. Well, we are there. So our typical fee is $1,200 and the fee was increased to $1,700.
So in fact, that was a penalty?
An administrative fee.
It was an administrative fee, okay.
hold on. I don't understand.
I think Nikki has a question.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. While they're waiting, may I ask the applicant a question? You just said you've started the repair, so you have not finished anything per se. You haven't started the 2 decks, but have you finished the repair on the house?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So the yellow portion has been done.
The yellow portion has been done. No,
Okay.
it has been done. The roof was put on. And again, none of that stuff that was existing through you, Mr. Chair, none of that existing was meeting the Ontario Building Code. So it was coming down anyways, right? So it's safer and compliant.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Through you, Mr. Chair. If the committee is interested, I do have some site photos for this to show you the extent of the construction that has already been undertaken. If you would like, I can share those, both on the screen here and online for those who would like to see. Okay.
Mr. Feeney, can you try talking?
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So I can add a little bit of history to the site. We purchased the property in 1961 as a family property from the Ducharme family. And I think I think this cottage was, if I recall correctly, was built in 1962. And there was an addition made round about 1990, if I recall correctly. There's probably records of that in your files. Did you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir. I'm
yep.
sorry. I'm still thinking about.
All right, so I'll just do a quick scroll through just to give the committee an idea. Abby and myself did a site visit on the property, and this just gives you an idea of the construction that has been undertaken or was undertaken at that point. Again, he was very good that when he was told to stop, he stopped. And so it looks like this. As you can see, some of the enlargements have happened. The roof line has happened, but the decks are not in place on front. Up in the foreground of the picture, you can see one of the deck portions that's intended to be removed and added on. So it just gives you an idea that while it is under construction, it has stopped. And this is next one is a view from the lake. So again, as Mr. Pisani noted, the setbacks on this one were verified, as well as the width of the deck and the proposed additions. So you can see there's some slope, but it's not a steep slope down to the shoreline. In this one at the left side, you can see that's a portion of the existing main floor cottage that still is retained. So it gives you an idea. Again, it looks like the understanding when I was there, most of it's the second floor has got rebuilt. There are definitely portions of the main floor. Some site context photos here. Okay, I'm just gonna see if I have one inside. And you can see here, so this is the inside, and what you can see here is the original flooring and then the extended portion. So this is inside where it was deck and is now extended. So I guess if my cursors, you can kind of see it moving here. This is sort of the added portion. And then here at the bottom left is you can see where the existing original floor is. So it was verified that what was proposed in this case corresponded to what was on site. Again, you can see just sort of a couple of scroll pictures through with the supports. Most of it's open to above. Only at the rear of the shot, you can see where there's some vertical we'll say faux wood beam things. That's where above that area the loft will take place. So kind of just gives you, yeah, the majority of the inside of the footprint will be open to below. So there we go.
So to reiterate, the building fee has been paid, or the building permit has been paid for. Correct?
That I do not know.
Okay,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
the administrative fee has been paid for.
Correct.
So you are just waiting for permits.
That's correct. I just want for full transparency
Mhm.
on the roof. I did come back and ask because of the, the storms and stuff like that. I did ask Andy or the or the manager
Mhm.
if I could complete the roof, and I've completed the roof just to make sure I didn't have any more elements or wind catch it and create more problems.
And you had that permission. So
And I did.
I can assume then, in effect, the building permit is going to be issued. It's a question of time.
Provided the committee chooses to approve the application as submitted. However, if the committee turns it down, it would have to be reverted to its original footprint and structure.
Mhm. My thought was we are not in the same situation as we were the last time.
No, Mr. Chair, the construction has not been completed in this case.
Although I'd like to add, I'm assuming when Andy allowed you to finish the roof, it was under the understanding that it was at your own risk, and should the committee choose to deny the application, that you would unfortunately lose the efforts that you've put into the building.
Fully aware of that. Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair, fully aware of that. And, at that point in time, with the distance that I had to overcome, right? I just, I just said, well, that it'll be what it is. And I'm going to tell you on the zoning and the setbacks, one of the reasons it didn't clue into me is that when it was originally built, it was built compliant. And because I wasn't encroaching any more on the lake, and it did really start off as a repair and it just kind of took off. So I just want to be fully transparent there.
Are there any more questions from the committee? Mr. McGregor.
Because there's a 300 feet of additional square footage, what was the reason there was no septic inspection completed?
That you would have to ask the building department. I just asked them for input and provide the answers I am provided.
So,
Anybody else?
so with that, Mr. Chair, I'd like to add that as a condition of the approval. Oh, sorry.
So back to being a professional engineer in Ontario. Because I'm not changing, I'm not putting any more bedrooms, right? It's a 2-bedroom place. With some, and I had initially storage space as it was described earlier. I did add so I can have a study. I plan to retire there. And yeah, that's the reason. I'm not putting another washroom in. Based on the inspection process, right, and how the drawings have been designed and submitted, if I were to put one, let's say in the future, then I would have to go through the septic requirements and inspection.
Okay, so in response to that, I still feel because we're expanding that building 300 feet, it's a 300 square feet plus a second story. I think it justifies, in my opinion, having a septic inspection, especially because we're going to be coming around doing septic re-inspections on the lakes soon anyway. So, Mr. Chair, I would like to add that as a condition of approval, the septic inspection is taking place. That's just my opinion.
I think that's reasonable. Any objections?
So, but it's not required because he didn't add washroom,
that is-
so
That is,
under
yes,
the building code,
actually,
it's not required then.
Mm.
Got it.
no, it's not.
So,
Okay, I'm going to call the vote. Unless there's any other objections or questions.
Chair, Mr. Freeney has his hand up.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can unmute your microphone.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so there's just a few points I wanted to raise. I don't think they're significant, but I just wanted to raise them. The contractor has parked on Feeney Lane on a few occasions, blocking Feeney Lane. Now, it's important that we maintain access through that lane for fire, police, and ambulance services. So I would ask that the contractor provide a contact phone numbers to the township and to us so that we can get the lane opened in the event that he blocks the lane again. His activities are not entirely confined to the construction site. Another point is the contractor damaged an Art Deco sign on Feeney Lane at Durham at the Ducharme Road. It's not easily repaired. I mean, it's a piece of artwork, but I would ask that the contractor show some care and not damage it any further. Maybe we can do something with it.
I do apologize, but I'm not of the opinion that that is something that should come from this committee.
Very well, very well. Third point is the drawing doesn't look terribly accurate. Perhaps the applicant could have it revised, but either by an architect or an engineer or even by himself. It doesn't seem to be terribly to scale.
Hold on a minute, sir. Mr. Passini, yours is stamped with your stamp?
Yeah, it will. They're submitted into the town, and if Andy needs them stamped, I will stamp them.
Okay, Mr. Feeney, those drawings were done by a professional engineer and they have been submitted to the chief building official.
Very well. That looks like they need a little bit of revisions, but if you think they're suitable, so be it.
Far be it from me to question a professional engineer, sir.
I'm also a professional engineer.
Yeah, that's my uncle.
Yes, then that gentleman would be between the two of you, not us.
Right on.
Another point I might make, which would bear on the drawing, is that the driveway of the applicant's about 70 to 100 meters long before it meets Feeney Lane. And then Feeney Lane runs about 800 meters from that point southeast to Ducharme Road. So, I mean, it might be something you might want to include on the drawing.
Okay. Good.
And finally, the contractor has damaged the Feeney Lane somewhat. He's put in ditches and the gravel's been quite disturbed. And I hope that the applicant will see fit to do something about that. Now, that may not be in your jurisdiction either, but it's just a point I wanted to make.
It is not, but he has already given a nod.
Thanks very much.
You are welcome, sir. I'm going to call the vote. Moved by Lynn Clagus, seconded by Cindy Kelsey, that minor variance application 2025-0028 Pisani for concession 8 North, Part Lot 3, Geographic Township of Oso, 1153 Feeney Lane, Township of Central Frontenac, be approved to allow for the construction of a 27.9 square meter, a 300 square foot addition to an existing cottage, and a 27.9 square meter or 300 square foot addition to an existing deck for a total enlarged deck area of 53.5 square meters or 575 square feet, and that the effect of the application is to permit a variance from section 5.6.2 and 4.26.5.a of the zoning bylaw 2011-52 as amended to allow the development. And further, that the Secretary Treasurer shall issue the notice of decision in accordance with the requirements of the Planning Act, including providing the notice of decision to the applicant, any person or public body that made a written request to be notified, and any other person or public body prescribed. All those in favor? Carried.
I would just like to ask the committee, are we adding any conditions to this decision or just as it is? Okay, I just wanted to verify. Thank you.
Okay, is there any other planning business?
No, there is not.
Moved by Lynn Clagus, seconded by Dan Meeks, that this meeting be adjourned until September 9th, 2025 at 5 p.m. virtually and in person in the council chambers located at 14216 Road 38, Sharbot Lake, or at the call of the chair. All those in favor? Carried. And the time is
53.
5:53.